And welcome back to TheNosePlays, Sunless Sea, Zubmariner. Picking up part 4 of our Sunless Sea gameplay. I'm feeling pretty good tonight. I think I have a plan for what I'd like to do, but we'll kind of talk it out at the beginning of the video here and see if it's actually what I want to do. Also, I played around with my internet connection. I've been having some weird issues where my upload speeds are way low, and then they get fixed. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we are back to having good upload speeds at the moment. So let's hope that continues. Let's go ahead and get into our game. The Unterzee does not forgive, and it will not forgive you. If you do not just absolutely love the artwork of this game, I don't know what to tell you, because this game, the artwork, the music, it is just so fantastic. And there's nothing like a long voyage on the Unterzee. Well, we are steadily making more money. This is a little bit deceptive because we have to recall that 1,000 echoes of this was actually gifted to us by none other than the Blind Bruiser, who I've been frequently calling the Blind Butcher, because if you fail to achieve a task, that's basically what he does to you. It's not very pleasant, so we'll want to make sure that we do not drop below about 1,200 echoes for anything that we purchase. We'll need about 200 plus echoes to get the next shipment of Sphinx Stone, and then on top of that we'll need 1,000 echoes for the Bruiser's task. There's a couple of things in our journal here that we need to pay attention to. With various miscellaneous things going on here. These are all requests. You welcome a passenger aboard. We're working on the submarine. We can actually get the submarine. We've got the pirate poet. Okay, we need to go to Port Cecil. That's what this was. The Gnomic Gallivant. We'll find his quest somewhere up here. It might be under objectives. Was it this one? Venturous Desires. Not sure where he's at. Another day? Nope. Well, let's read this one here. So, Gator's Morn. Collect cargo from Gator's Morn in the Corsair Force. We are going to need to go to Gator's Morn for sure. I know we'll also need to go to Port Cecil. Find 7 strange catches or 7 hunting trophies. Go to Irem. We've satisfied her yearning for souls. Here it is. Ruby Writing. Visit the chess tournament in Port Cecil. We haven't uncovered Port Cecil yet, so those are the 2 big things that we have left that we really need to get done. Everything else is sort of but one thing that I would like to get done is the Submarine Quest. We have the echoes to do that now. We can pay the echoes to get the next portion of the quest unlocked. And then once we do that, we'll have to go, I think, to Mount Palmerston, which is clear on the north end of the map, to get the Zonar figured out. Or maybe it was Codex, I can't remember. Actually, it's probably one of these. We need to increase to 100. We currently have 60. We can pay to get 20. I think it's 25 echoes. It might be more than that, but either way, we have the money to do it. And then once we've done this quest, we don't have to do it again. Alright, and we've got our terror down quite a bit, which is kind of good. It definitely has some advantages of having low terror. These are all important things as well. You can kind of look at them if you want. Sometimes it pays to come through here and look at all these different things, but at the moment, actually, just out of curiosity, we speak to her, we can get some hearts. Hearts, we're up to 33 hearts now with her stat boost, but how many secrets do we have? We have 10. The best way to extract a secret is to offer one in return. Spend a secret to improve your hearts unless it's higher than 100. Not sure why this is locked at the moment. Answer questions about your past. Proposition the Clatterly heir despite her ironical eye. Unlock when romance and affair with is blank. We might start this quest at some point. I really like the Clatterly. I call it the Clatterly. It's the Clattery. But this quest is pretty long and not super difficult necessarily, but there are a lot of basically dice rolls that you have to do to complete it, and there's some chances. I think there's a chance that you cannot complete it at all. So every time you play the game, you may or may not be able to get the heart. I think we did everything we needed to in port. So we already turned in all of our port reports and everything like that because we're up to 19 fuel. We have 9 supplies. And then we have a couple of these items that I can't seem to find a good spot to get rid of them. I could just sell the Parabola linens. They sell for a reasonable price of 60 echoes apiece. There is usually a quest to collect 7 of them that the Venture will give you, but he hasn't chosen it at the moment. And nobody else really wants them. We do have the Lamentable Relic we could sell here. I can't remember how much it sells for, though, and she doesn't tell you until you already give it to her. Like, I don't get a choice of, oh yeah, I'll give you this much, and then I can say no. So I have to decide whether I really want the space in my hull. The Firkin of Prisoner's Honey, I guess we could just sell this stuff for now. We really don't need it. I'm probably going to come to regret that, because as soon as I sell it, we're going to come across a quest or something that's going to basically say, oh yeah, you needed these things, but that often happens. I do want to buy at least 10 mushroom wine. And maybe a couple of other things. We're going to go on a pretty long trip this time. So let's buy 10 mushroom wine. And then I can buy 1 fuel and 1 supply. And that will give us tons of stuff, but we'll have no cargo space left. We're completely stocked up. Alright, let's take a look at our map. And let's talk about what I want to achieve this particular outing. So, one of the things that we're going to do, now that our terror is really, really low, we're going to take a very long trip. There's a chance that we may need to gun it back. And so the extra fuel and all of that is for that reason. But basically what I'm trying to say is what we're going to do is we're going to take the long way. So I'm going to basically track against the land all the way down to Port Carnelian, similarly to how we did before. That took us 10 fuel to complete that journey last time. That's only half of our fuel. We're going to take the other half of our fuel. We're going to continue down the land all the way to the other end. And then once we're all the way at the other end, we're going to have to decide which direction to go. It'll depend on how much fuel we have left. But There is another port over here called Adam's Way that you can buy fuel at, I believe. And then there should be some other stuff over here. But we need to uncover several things in this region. The first thing we're going to have to do is find Port Cecil. So maybe I might just move north from here and then head over and sort of swing around that way instead of going all the way to the end. I'll have to make that decision once we get there. But yeah, I think that's the plan, is basically to head south, cash in on our Submarine Quest, and then uncover some more of the map and look for Port Cecil. We need to go to Port Cecil and Gator's Bourne currently. Those are the two things that we need to do. Demew Island, if we happen to make it to Demew with fairly low terror, we might be able to pick up a bunch of supplies. And so this is a really good place for picking up supplies. We can also refuel here. So this is definitely going to be on our way home. We're looking at resupplying and refueling in these two locations. And then that'll allow us to maybe bring the ship back down, hit the salt lines, and then back to London. How far we go this direction and up, I don't quite know yet. It'll really depend on what we're looking like. But I do want to go one more place in the shops. I think I am going to go ahead and buy the lead beater. Except I can't now, because I don't have a spot for it. So I guess maybe we'll pass on it. I really wanted to buy the lead beater, though. Alright, so if I go to the shops and I sell a fuel back, that frees up a spot. This engine has a slightly higher power. We won't get quite the fuel efficiency that we were getting, but we'll move significantly faster. We'll want to make sure we remember to equip the engines. Otherwise we won't be moving very fast at all. Alright, so this engine is more for the mobility. One of the things that's really hampering us at the moment is we keep getting attacked by things and I can't really outrun anything. So this is more of a precautionary measure than one to help speed up our journey. It's more so that we can get away from things without having to run full power. Because it's very dangerous to use full power too many times. You do tend to eventually have your engines catch on fire, which is not a good thing. Alright, and we're off. We do not need lights for a good portion of this journey, which is nice. And the speed will be a little bit faster, but not significantly so. Fuel consumption will be a little bit faster, but also not significantly so. And because we can basically keep our terror in check as long as we run along the coast here. Ooh, a crab. If I can get over there quickly, we can... This should only take one shot. Ah, I missed it. Oh, it didn't take one shot. That's even worse. Alright, well, since we don't have any hunger, we're not going to butcher it for supplies. We'll do the low-risk challenge. Get some fragments. I think I'm going to save Quaker Haven's port report for now. And again, because we're traveling along the coast, we don't lose any significant amount of terror. Even running with lights off, you can see our terror meter isn't filling because of these buoys. And so while the total distance of the trip might be a little bit longer, the terror mitigation is often well worth it. And we don't have to run lights for a good portion of this. We can build up a little bit of terror. And actually, I am going to swing out here Try to kill this crab. There we go. And this one will actually save us some supplies by butchering it, which we'll gladly do. And because I can catch this buoy, we won't be gaining any terror. Let's keep that on until we get back. Alright. Try to keep it down around a half a bar. Alright, Cumin Canal, go ahead and gather a port report and listen for surface gossip. At some point we'll want to do this. You'll need 2 supplies and 22 fuel. But you'll also want to carry a fair amount of goods with you when you do it, so you can do some trading. Dark drop coffee tends to be the best. Okay, so we'll kind of follow the path of the shore here. Alright, we're approaching the Iron Republic. Cudgel's Bluff, and on into the Iron Republic. Alright. Compile a port report. And some fuel. I have approximately 400 echoes to work with here. I can go ahead and max out on fuel. It would cost us 7. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy all 7 here. It's pretty cheap fuel. And again, this is going to be a fairly long voyage. This might be a 2-hour one. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. I did put in a 12-hour shift tonight, so you basically, when you're up against the land, you never want to run with your lights on when your meter is completely empty. You always want to let it fill up a little bit, and then use your lights to bring it back down, and then let it fill up a little bit, and that will maximize your fuel efficiency and minimize your terror gain. And again, I often refer to that as juggling terror, so you'll hear me say that a lot. That's what I'm talking about. Keeping that meter always moving, but never empty. Unless I'm running lights off. So right about here, we'll go and turn our light off. And then let that meter fill up a little bit. Alright, and then right here, I think I may jump over to the Grand Geode. We can use this buoy to help us. We're gonna have to avoid that ship, but I think we can do that, no problem. And see, because our meter is empty when we leave the land, we can actually travel quite a ways. Oh dear. This is bad. This is very bad. This is very bad. Okay, he turned away. Well, we gained a point of terror there. Not much I could do about that. I have to avoid those guys. They're very dangerous. We do have our hull basically repaired at this point, so... But yeah, those are dreadnoughts. They have 50 crew, 500 health, and very powerful weapons. Not something we want to tangle with our little deck gun that can barely kill a crab in one hit. Grand Geode, we will compile a port report for sure. This might be a good time to speak with someone in authority. When your terror is really low, it's not too risky to do that, but there is an event that will massively increase your terror here. It's fairly rare, probably like 1 in 5 or 1 in 8 chances of happening in my experience. I don't know what the exact odds are, but it seems to be not super frequent, but it happens every now and then. So we're going to go ahead and try this, and this is actually the bad one. This is what happens. So this is one you have to be very careful at. Under 2 circumstances. Number 1, if your terror is really high, this could be bad. And also your crew is really low. Because if your crew is really low and you do this, you could lose a crew member like we did. So we've gained 25 terror. We've lost 1 crew. But we also gained an extraordinary implication, which actually has a lot of uses. So we'll keep that. And then we have 1 Memoirs, A Sunstroke. But I'll go ahead and read this. You asked to speak with someone in authority. What is this place? A blank space in your memory. You saw the Commodore, and then there was something bright. You discussed matters of importance. You're certain of it. Teasing clues linger in your memory. A sailor asked to stay behind, and you permitted it because it will become clear later. Probably. So basically, yeah, our memory kind of got wiped here, and they took one of our crew members. This happens not super regularly, but it does happen. I don't know. One thing that I looked into, and maybe I should, is if there is a trigger that causes this to happen based on your terror. So maybe it's more frequent or more likely to happen when your terror is low versus high. Although I have had it both high and low. I've pulled this quest. So I think it's just like a 1 in 5 or 1 in 10 chance, something like that. All right. Oh, interesting. We can engage an officer. Engage an officer. The Carnelian Exile. A dark spectacled woman marches up to you in some haste. Mumble, take me with you. I am no longer welcome here, and I will show you where we need to go. Exile is the first officer who increases mirrors and pages. We all have mirrors and veils from our current first officer. All we have to do, yeah, we can take her with us. Sure, why not? So now, if we go to our officers page, we can see she gives us 6 mirrors and 3 pages. So whenever we have a page challenge, we can put her in the active duty slot, and that will slightly increase our chance of completing page challenges. Alright. She also has a quest line. If you speak to her, you can unlock it. You need Searing Enigmas. She'll also increase your mirrors. And we can do the normal stuff. Notice her fang. Okay, we're going to go ahead and head straight to Port Carnelian, I think. Avoiding the Isle of Cats for now. This is actually probably my only real chance to go to the Isle of Cats, however. So if we wanted to go to the Isle of Cats, now's the time to do it. We can uncover some of this, hit the Isle of Cats, and then head straight south to Port Carnelian, and then on our way. I think that's the play. I think we'll go ahead and do that. This will build our terror a little bit, but hopefully not too much. We are leaving basically with 0 terror in our meter. And this is an option where we could run our engines full power to cover this ground slightly more quickly. We could also try to hit this buoy. There's a rock over here we should uncover. Castle Clare. That's worth fragments. 50 fragments gained for that. Alright. Isle of Cats. Keep the lights on just to keep the terror down. I think we're going to gain a point. There's no way around it, but it's only 1 point. I don't think we'll gain 2. There's the Isle of Cats. Yeah, we'll make it to the Isle before our meter fills up, and then we can reduce the terror back down by running along the land. Ooh, it's going to be close. Yeah, we might not make it. Nope, we didn't. Darn, we gained 2 full points of terror. Well, even with our faster engines, we couldn't quite cover the distance. Alright. Let's compile a port report. And then we have to choose which of these we're going to do, if anything. Port Cavendish, a scatter of yellow-lit honey dens and brightly painted alehouses. To the southeast rises stone tower of Cavendish Abbey, its ramparts hung with crimson and gold banners. There are sailors from all across the Neath hauling cargo, dicing and brawling good-naturedly on the docks. Alright, we have choices here. Unlock with no more than 0 keys. The Honey Tongue. It is both brothel and honey den run by someone the caddies refer to as the King's Claw. Cavendish Abbey. The crimson-clad, melliferous sisters patrol its ramparts and tend their hives of lamplighter bees. I can't remember if this is a quest that you kind of get stuck in. We might be here a little while. Let's go ahead and jump in. The Honey Tongue. Entering the brothel is like sliding into the dream of surface orientalists. Jewel-embroidered cushions, bright silk drapes, gilded statues of elephants, sun bears and clouded leopards, silver censers release curling plumes of rose-scented smoke into the air. The courtesans are red-lipped and coal-smudged. When you catch their eyes, they smile back at you with professional interest. Your actions will attract the Pirate King's notice. You need 5 Pirate King's notice to gain an offer from a patron. Meeting with the King's Claw will require us to have 5 notice with 1. Ask what red honey is. Comfort a Z captain. Swamp tales of a honey smuggler. Ooh, unlock with 5 Z stories. You have 2. We could definitely attempt to get 5 Z stories. Let's start with the easy one. Ask what red honey is. One of the nearby courtesans' eyebrows lifts infinitesimally, but his reply is practiced. When lamplighter bees suck the nectar of the crimson strain of exile's rose, they are driven to madness. They enter the brains of humans and harvest their memories. He shudders as though imagining the process himself. Those memories are instilled in red honey. Each sip is a burst of memory on the tongue. Deliciously awful, isn't it? He flutters his dyed feather fan. You've gained 1 terror. Well, so much for doing a no terror run. Okay, we've asked what the honey is. Comfort a Z captain. This will cost us some fragments, but we have plenty. A Z captain is weeping gently into a courtesan's bosom, muttering of her lost crew and rose gardens. They're all tending the gardens now, she wails, and begins to weep again. My poor crew. You wait for a hitch in the sobs and inquire further. It is slow, delicate business drawing answers out of her, but you are nothing if not perseverant. It seems her crew was conscripted by the Lady of the Gardens, and that their duties are something far worse than horticulture. You leave her reciting the names of her lost sailors and commending them to Salt's mercy. You've gained 1. Notice of the Pirate King is now 2. You've lost 60 fragments. Ouch, that's a lot of fragments. We'll need some more Z stories. We could do this a couple more times. 3 more times to be exact. But that would only give us... Well, we're at 2. That would give us 5. Let's see if it works. We're at 4. And that puts us at 5. We've lost all of our fragments, but that's okay. We can now have a meeting with the King's Claw. The Claw keeps a suite in the maze of corridors above the brothel. The King's Claw tells you to call him Isere. They are dressed in azure silk and wearing clawed rings of enameled metal and ivory on the fingers of their right hand. They are very beautiful, if you like them sharp and glittering and ambiguously gendered. You have caught the interest of the Pirate King, and therefore my interest as well. They say fixing you with an amber gaze. You seem capable enough, and I have need of a capable friend. Accept their offer. You can never have too many friends in the Neath. You may only have 1 patron on the Isle of Cats. Choose well. Interesting. So, my guess is if we went and did the other quest line for the Abbey, we could have them as a patron instead. Lady of the Cages, yeah. Well, it sounds like the other Z Captain wasn't too happy with the Sisters of the Cage, or whatever they're called. So let's go ahead and accept the offer. Why not? Wonderful, utterly delightful. Isri is all smiles and genial bonhomie. I shall start thinking of a task fit for your talents, something special. They have a jeweled hand. Run along now. There's a good captain. An occurrence. Your Isle of Cats, Isere's patronage quality is now 1. You've accepted his patronage. Okay. Good to know. We visit his office. We can accept a new commission. Sure. Oh. Okay. You are hardly squeamish about smuggling red honey. If you change your mind, you could always turn the shipment over to the Admiralty instead. The scholar will give you some notes in return. Bring them to me, and I shall be most pleased. Isri slides the casket over to you, and very pointedly does not enumerate the consequences of returning without the notes. Instead, they smile too widely, and you shiver. You are smuggling a prescribed cargo of honey. An occurrence. Your Isle of Cats is now 2. Smuggling red honey to the alarming scholar. Okay, the scholar's in London, so that should be easy to do. We'll just have to make sure that we don't accidentally sell our honey anywhere along the way. And in the port, we'll skip talking to the Abbey for now, since we can only have one patron. The shop is not worth visiting, and there is no shipyard, so off to Port Carnelian. We're doing pretty good on fuel, but not so good on supplies. Alright, off we go. Let's see if we can cover this distance without gaining a full point of terror. It's going to be close. I don't think we're going to make it. We'll gain at least 1 point. Our engines just aren't quite fast enough, but that's okay. Oof, barely made it to avoid the second point of terror, so that's good. Alright, first things first, the hidden workshop. We need to increase this twice. We can do so by paying 75 echoes. And again, and that achieves the first part of our quest. The second part of our quest is the Zonar. The engineers have reached an impasse. It's the Zonar. It's unreliable, loud, stops working below 70 fathoms. But the Admiralty and the Khanate must have cracked this back in the day. The engineers brim with conspiracy theories about the old submarine programs. Before the agreement about nothing of consequence, London's Admiralty conducted their submarine research at Station 3. The location of the Khanate's research base is unknown, but a number of its scientists relocated to Khan's Shadow. Perhaps one of those locations has information you could use. So we'll need to visit Khan's Shadow or Station 3. We don't really have access to Station 3, but it might pop up as a potential quest that we can get into without having the crate you normally need to get in there. We've also gained a secret. Into the Port Carnelian. Let's see. Let's go ahead and talk to the tigers, since we've made friends with the Tiger Prince, or whatever his name is. Port Carnelian's padded natives are eloquent, placid, and acerbic. I'm not even sure what that word means, most of the time. The Blue Bazaar is Port Carnelian's great indoor market, arched, lofty, plush with pattern of carpets, where vendors display their wares, most of them awash with gossip. The tiger chats about the banded prince, their supposed monarch, and his palace deep in the jungle. You never lever the conversation onto the state of his people. He has no complaints, he says, not even about the recent reinstallment of the travel restrictions on natives, nor the report of a tiger killed at the jungle's edge. His tail flicks. I think we've already done this one. I remember reading this before. Oh well, a port report has been acquired. We don't have any spies yet. Alright, well, on to the shops, and from the shops, we definitely need to consider buying some more supplies. We could also buy the solace fruit, and I can't remember where we were going to need the solace fruit. But something in my mind tells me that we had somebody who needed it or wanted it. Perhaps I'm mistaken. Either way, we can sell casks of mushroom wine here and make 2 echoes per cask. That's not a lot of echoes, that's 20 echoes, but it was basically for free. So I think we should do that. There is another location where you can sell wine for a much better price, but I don't know where it is on the map yet, and there's no guarantees that we're going to find it on this trip. If we do, the next time we come through here, we might go there before and try to drop off the wine, but we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and sell all the wine here. And I'm tempted to stock up on dark drop coffee, but I vaguely know where we can sell it for a profit, but I don't know for sure where it's at, and I'm not 100% sure I'm traveling out that far just yet. Fuel here is 12, that's a little pricey, but supplies are only 18. I think we should buy at least 2. The wine that we brought basically covers the price of one of those. So I think that's probably okay. Alright, and I think we're ready to take off. We definitely have enough fuel. So now we're just going to travel along the coast and try to get to Adam's Way, I believe. And try to minimize any more terror gain. And also avoid the Z-Beasties as best we can. Those parrots are very annoying. Oh. Reoccurring nightmare. We've seen this before. I'm going to go ahead and attempt the straightforward challenge. We've gained 2 terror, but we've lost a restful night, and our menaces are now down to 1. So that's fine. Get away from us. Go away. Go away, Z-Beasties. Alright, so this is an opportunity to head north and kind of skirt these islands, but I think I'm going to continue to head east for now. I want to get to Adam's Way. curious why my lights are not working on knocking down the terror. Those islands were not triggering the green terror bar. This should be Adam's Way here. Apis meat. Maybe this isn't it. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, near Adam's Way. Okay, Adam's Way is right over here. Okay. On a bed of monumental ruins, warehouses and waste stations of shroom timber rise. All ships that approach Adam's Way are intercepted by the gracious, the Presbyterian's splendidly head-dressed coast guards. A quaint but inviolable tradition governs entry. You must tell them one of 3 stories. In return, you will be permitted to spend a single day in the port. Okay, so you're going to need a recent news, an unread log, or a port report from Mount Palmerston. I believe we have that. Oh no, we have the Iron Republics. We don't have Mount Palmerston's port report. Why are foreigners only allowed to spend a single day in Adam's Way? For your own protection, one of them explains kindly. Let's go ahead and use our news from London. Is their interest strategic? Or do they just enjoy hearing about London's miseries? Regardless, they permit you to dock. The day has just begun. In the town square, a yellow-robed priestess plants a seed in a bed of black soil. No sooner has she planted down the soil than a tiny shoot pokes forth. By mid-morning it will be a sapling. By lunchtime a budding tree. By evening's end it will wither and fall. You must be back to ship before then. The tree of a single day is a hopeful sapling, green and budding. You've lost one recent news. To the south, the Elder Continent and the 72 cornucopian kingdoms of the Presbyterians. Are the stories true? Rivers of honey, castles of ivory? Who can say? Foreigners, that's you, are forbidden from the interior. The closest most get is Adam's Way, a shouting, feasting, thriving, thieving riot of a port. The options available may change as the day progresses. Visit an exhibition of Presbyterian Curiosities. For the insignificant price of a single echo, the sober showman will lay the wonders of the Elder Continent directly at your feet. Assist an evanescence hospital. Listen to a storyteller. And somebody broker has a commission. His client has a task of modest but scriptural significance. He is conducting interviews. The Presbyterian adventuress, a tall woman in salt-caked Royal Navy uniform, is methodically shooting giant land snails off a chunk of fallen statue. She lines up for another shot. Afternoon, Mumble. Looking for a gunnery officer? I'd like to help with blowing up monsters if you'll have me. The gunnery officer increases iron and veils. Welcome aboard. Oh, hello, Captain. Is this one of yours? I had to knock her about a bit. She didn't like taking orders from foreigners. Still, we're good friends now, the adventurer claps the black-eyed sailor on the back. Oddly enough, they do seem to be friends now. Okay. We'll do that in a moment. I am tempted to do this, but we need You need Adam's Way day 2. So we'll have to get to day 2 before we can do this. We could listen to a storyteller. Pay the 1 echo and do this. You head towards the bright tents. You've lost 1 echo. Grant your crew shore leave. This should reduce terror by some quantity. Visit the grotesquerie. Attend the Cabinet of Curiosities or leave the exhibition. I'll pay 20 echoes for my crew to take some shore leave. Some see the sights, some experiment with the hots, honey, wine of the elder continent. Still others pay furtive visits to a shadow tent, with signs promising the perfumed, pantherine dances of an exotic south performed to authentic and arousing music twice hourly. You've lost 10 terror. You've lost 20 echoes. The tree of a single day is tall and strong. Its branches stretch over the rooftops. Attend the Cabinet of Curiosities. A sign outside the tent reads, Revealed for the first time, innumerable mysteries of the interior. A profusion of Presbyterian secrets to perplex and petrify. A rusty sword catches your eye. A pitted sword rests on a stand. According to its brass plaque, legend and testimony from natives of good character claimed that this was the sword with which the first Prester slew the king of the Replet. He then married their queen, subsuming the Replet into his realm. Records attest that the Prester ate only bread and cheese at his wedding feast. His bride and her relatives dined on their fallen king. You gained 50 fragments, a tale of terror. The tree of a single day is flowering. White petals drift across the square. Alright, well we can do one more, I guess. Sure. The showman is speaking as you enter. The arts concern themselves with the transformation of flesh, a prideful science. The Prester forbids its practice in the mountain sight. This lady defied its prohibition. Behold the result! A figure sits on a chair in the middle of the tent. It mumbles a polite but indistinct greeting as the audience crowds around the edges. Its dress is faded and collar and cuff, but clean and fitted. The body within is uneven. One shoulder is high, the other low. Its spine bends like a crook. Its face is a knot of bubbled flesh, dark eyes gleaming in the mass. If you have the gumption, you may touch the lady's face. She is of a scholarly inclination and will not bite. She has learned her lesson. 1 tale of terror, 1 memory of a distant shore. 50 fragments, 1 terror gained. The tree of a single day is withered, its gnarled trunk groans. It's time for us to leave. Enough distractions. I think we have to pick the last option at this point. The trunk groans at your back. Above you, withered branches scratch spidery at the air. A gnarled branch falls. The yellow-robed priestess sweeps it away. You've lost 1 terror. The tree of a single day cracks and leans. It is time to return to your ship. Go ahead. The gracious comb of the streets ushering visitors politely back to the dock. Your Adam's Way tree of a single day quality is gone. That's all for now. Alright. Let's take a look at the shops. So actually, we could have sold the mushroom wine over here for a little bit better price. Also, the bale of parabola linen sells for 63 echoes here. I think we sold it for 60 if I'm not mistaken. So we could have got a slightly better price on that as well. But we can buy fuel and supplies, both of which are not great prices. We can also buy dark drop coffee beans here. And again, I know where to sell them, but I'm not sure that we're going to find it this trip. So I'm going to pause the game for just a second and step away and think about it, and I'll be back momentarily. Alright. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. We have lots of things going on that we need to take care of. Supplies and fuel is a concern. I want to take a look at our map real quick. So from Port Carnelian to Adams Way, we used approximately 2 supplies. That's basically the distance of 2 tiles, or 2 sections of the map here. So we could go 2 more, that would be 2 supplies. That would put us at 4. We're going to need quite a few more to get up and out of here. How many more, though? At 25, that's not a great price on supplies at all. Perhaps we should have bought more supplies at the last place where they were only 18, I believe. Fuel's 12 here as well. I think we'll buy 1 supply, but I'm going to go ahead and pass on the fuel for now. And that should ensure that we can get all the way to the King Eater's Castle, Kingfisher's Castle, whatever is in the corner down here. There's an important landmark that we'll need to visit at some point. The debate is whether we head up and then across, or whether we head across and then back. I think that's probably the play. Let's go ahead and head this direction. And we're not going to head south of here. There is a spot where you can try to move, but if you do, you tend to die. There is a way to get through there, but it is not something we're capable of doing right now. I see a rock right there. Just a rock. Ooh. Don't want to mess with him. Alright, we'll keep heading along the coast. And keep our terror fairly low. There should be one or two more ports this direction. I think we're coming up on one now. Alright, Varkus. The mirrored city where light was always the law. The burning white light of Varkus. The walled city of Varkus is a triangle of green vines and luminescent fungal flowers, slow blooming around the moldering stone. A quincunx of carved step towers rise over the walls and pour burning white light into the bleak sky. A rough shadowed path leads from the docks to the mirrored gates of Varkus. Two towering carved stone lamps throw their light on the angled mirrors, and a blue cloaked guard stands in the reflected pool of light. The city is a beacon against the tree-hushed, sprawling darkness of the Elder Continent. In the far distance, a vast mountain glimmers. Choke on the smell. It is overpowering, sweet. It comes from the fungus growing all over the city stones. The sailors wave you over. They are sitting on some unperturbed crates on the docks, playing a game with mirrored chips and stylized snakes made of bone. Ask the guard a few questions. Let's get a port report first of all. Tone down the details of the light and its brilliance. You don't want to inspire envy in the Admiralty staff. Ask the guard a few questions. Never a bad idea to gather intelligence before heading into unknown waters or cities, as the case may be. The blue cloaked guard only acknowledges your existence when you step out of the darkness of the path and into the light of the lamps. The guard stands in the middle of the pool of light, looking warily at the darkness beyond you. Up close, the guard's blue cloak is threadbare and mossy along the hem. A pattern of embroidered suns runs along the collar, but the gold thread is dull. The kohl around her eyes is smudged. Well, Thomas, she asks, are you going to ask your questions, or are you just going to stare? Her tone is burlesque, but her expression is curiously eager. You do not think the Varkus receives many visitors. Your name is not Thomas, you correct her politely. The guard looks scandalized and tries to stop her ears. All those who are not Varkasi are Thomas. You have been touched by darkness, and it has taken your name. She fixes you with an admonished look and adds, it is very ill-mannered to pretend you still have one. You begin to see a little why Varkus is not often visited. It looks like you will have to get used to being called Thomas if you wish to enter. There's a lot of stuff to do here. Let's just take a look at shops. No shops or shipyard, huh? I'm not really interested in running this quest right now, so I think we're just going to pass on it. I got the port report. We can go ahead and continue moving to the east. Moving into a fog bank is a tough challenge. She offers pages. I think I'll go with the veils for now. Apparently, we skipped our opportunity to do that quest thing. Here we go. Off to new adventures. King Eater's Castle. No shops, no shipyard. Echoes stalk you through the colonnades. An old veracity lives here, in the far reaches of the Zee. The priests are long gone, but sacrifices are still made. Perhaps you have come here to make a sacrifice. Perhaps the sacrifice is you. The sixth witness, a woman in rags, stands on the battlements, staring to the east. An act of burning filth. Which gods hold sway here? Storm, stone, salt? Perhaps no god. There is elsewhere named. But if you feed it, it will calm your mind. This will expend fuel and supplies to lower your terror. 1 supply and 1 fuel. Interesting. Lose your mind. Offer your thoughts to the altar. Do not do this. Eat your crew. Not all of them will go easily. Do not do this. This will destroy all your crew and any human or near-human officers. The struggle will wound or even kill you. Offer your stories. All of them. What is one more departure among so many? This may take you elsewhere, at the cost of all your Z stories. Choose it only if you are desperate to be somewhere else. A matter of luck. Compile a port report. Well, that's the main thing we wanted to do here. It's not really an appropriate title for a formal report, is it? Everything is horrible. Let's find something a little more clinical. You now have one of these. A port report from King Eater's Castle. Unlock the Nat Pole. The fading harpsichords, no more than 5. We could try to drop some of our terror. 1 fuel and 1 supply is kind of pricey at the place we're at, because I don't know where we're going to be able to refuel and resupply. Even though we have 600 echoes, so we can refuel and resupply a little bit if need be. Until I know where everything's at, it's going to be difficult to spend resources. The only one that I might be willing to do would be this one. This is going to give us a quest where we're probably going to have to take her to some place underwater, and we don't quite have the submarine yet. But we might as well do it. I'm sorry, I didn't expect anyone else to be here. Sit with me. No, do not look east. I only dare because I know I will see nothing, like the 5 before me. It is my first time at Z. We do not get out much, but you must have traveled far to end up here. Tell me your stories. You barely begin before she interrupts. How about the Nat Pole? They say they see the future. If you go, could you ask what the seventh will witness? I happily give my life to prepare the ground, but to know would be the greatest of honors, an occurrence. Your Nat Pole, a witness to nothing quality, is now won. The sixth witness asked you to visit the Nat Pole. That's an underwater city, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we're going to do anything else here, so it's time to head back. We're definitely going to head a little bit to the north and try to uncover some of the territory between, I think, here and here. We can get back to Port Carnelian with 10 fuel for sure. So that's what we're going to try to do. And hopefully we find Port Cecil and some other places of importance. There's a couple places in particular I would love to find, but I'm not so sure that we're going to get them. They're kind of semi-random, so... What do we got here? Just a rock. Lighthouse. Well, let's travel with the light as far as we can. Ah, I know this place. That is a giant zeppelin. Also, that is an urchin. Those things are terrifying because they actually shoot you. Alright, well this is good. The Empire of Hands is one of the places we kind of wanted to find, but... A stern reminder from the Admiralty. In the name and by the power of her enduring majesty, a trade embargo and quarantine is absolutely has hereby been declared on the Empire of Hands. Perpetuity, there is the word. Got tongue-tied there for a second. No ship of London is permitted aboard a Pentecost ape without express or prior permission of the Admiralty. Any and all acts of spirifege are prohibited. They know what they did. Beware the stowaways. Keep a tight grip on your soul. With regulations in mind, it is a surprise to be greeted by a mere itchy monkey with tattered yellow robe, barely walking with the help of a ceremonial staff. "Hello," cries the mayor in a broken voice, of one not yet used to human speech. "Come, make selves at home, all souls welcome in bountiful Empire of Hands." The crew shifts uncomfortably. They know the stories. It will take more than a natural beauty of this place to make most of them risk shore leave here. Port Stanton. The parasynthetic jungle holds many dangers. Step carefully. There are no authorities beyond the fence. Do we have shops here? We do not. Zailing the Empire of Hands. Perhaps not. I don't really want to do this quest either. I think we will do the shore leave. This is actually really good for us. We gained 3 supplies and lost 15 hunger. That's exactly what we needed at this point. Chance to gather supplies. With the help of a few crew members, you gather several crates of fruit and berries from the thick jungle. In exchange for a share, the monkeys of Port Stanton are oddly happy to help you sift through and find the best. Much of the crew subsequently suffers from terrible diarrhea. The two things are perhaps unrelated. Alright, that's all we're going to do here, I think. We got our port report. I could do an audience with the flea-ridden mayor, but I'm not planning on doing these quests right now. It's an awful lot of reading. So from here, we could head straight back towards Adam's Way and uncover a fair amount of the map. Or I could continue north. There's nothing to the north that I absolutely need to visit right now. Nothing that's part of a quest. So I think we're going to start heading back. I am going to sort of go around the long way to uncover more of the map, though. And maybe get an idea of what is north of here. Typically, you find the Sea of Lilies out here somewhere. I'm also very keen to find a couple other places that would be very helpful for us. Alright, off we go. I see what looks like one of the abysses ahead. That's not so helpful. There's no land there, but it will be worth some fragments at least. Eliaph's Rift. Albino eels are not something we want to mess with. Okay, I know what this is. Let's use our sea bat. I always forget about that guy. Something underwater to the south. Here we go. There are no islands within the Z-Bat's range. But there's this. There we go. Fathom King's Hole. That's what I was looking for. It's just north of us. We'll go around this rock and head there. Try to keep an eye out for Z-Beasts. This is actually a good place to recover fuel if you have the right things in your inventory to get in. Dang, that ship is super fast. Alright. Like an iceberg, like a bizarre master's scheme, like the Neath itself, most of the hold is invisible. You see only a tiny portion of sculpted coral. The rest waits below the surface. The Fathom King's bone rooms and aquaria, his pearl snares and dining chambers. Descend to an audience with the Fathom King. The Fathom King is Lord of the Drownies, those dead who won't stop swimming. By some accounts, he's the lord of all who die at sea. Bring him a story to tickle his curiosity. Permit shore leave. Trade for drowning pearls. Trade for white molliflower. Compile a port report. Let's go ahead and visit the Fathom King. The porter was a skin of a... Speaking to the porter has the skin of a shark. She was a drowned woman's eyes. It is not permitted to look at her hands. Yes, she rasps. That story is sufficient. She opens the valves of pearl and permits you to pass into the conduit. This is the salt-blown heart of the hold. The Fathom King floats in his throne, a gem-starred bowl of sea stone, the size of a banqueting table. He's wearing a dressing gown of purple brocade, soaked dark with salt water. He leans his chin calmly on his hand. Beneath the surface of the water, in his throne, his hidden regions pulse, constantly, insistently. We're going to ask for a boon. This usually gives you something good. You have brought the king a story gift. You may ask a gift in return. It is impossible to know what you'll receive. 5 supplies, gained 5 terror. Well, the supplies are welcome. Unfortunately, we kind of wanted fuel, but that'll do for now. You have to have Z stories to get here, so there are no shops and no shipyard. But free supplies are free supplies, and supplies are worth more than fuel, or at least they cost more than fuel. Okay, so from here, we want to probably continue to head west to this tile and see what we can uncover here, and then from that tile maybe north towards Gator's Morn. I need to uncover Polytherum and a few other places, and they're usually in this general region, so if we could get over here and uncover most of this on our way up to Gator's Morn, Demew, the Chapel of Lights, Mount Palmerston, all of that. We'll need to get some fuel somewhere, though. Wait for him to head out. And try and get away from him. Oh dear. Alright, we're gonna run our engines as fast as we can. I don't think there's any escape from this guy. Maybe there is. Okay, this is good. I know these islands. This is where we wanted to go. One of the places I wanted to find. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to run with no more lights because we are running dangerously low on fuel. Where are they? North. Okay, so we do need to head this way. Mangrove College. We have 11 supplies. Sometimes we can use supplies to make fuel in a pinch. Alright, Mangrove College. Pick up a passenger. Yes, we should. The checkered character would like to go to Port Cecil as well. Maybe's daughter is an engineer. We don't have an engineer, so let's pick her up. Gather supplies. Compile a port report. We've gained 1 supply for that. And we can gather more supplies, or we can eat, drink, and be merry. This would reduce terror. This would give us more supplies, which we'll take. And I haven't been reading any of this, but there's not much to read. Steaming sprawl of parasitic vegetation and a village. Barely a village. Old walls, roofs in despair, stilts leaning dangerously. It looks to have been assembled by drunks in a hurry. Dock carefully. Sages, scholars, philosophers, naturalistic poets, dreamers, here to pursue their rarefied ideals in the land of muddy fecundity. Journal. The passenger is in our hold. Here he is. Checkered character. This dreamy, furtive fellow is traveling to the principles of coral. No shops, unfortunately. Alright, so from here, I think we're going to head north. It's somewhat dangerous to head north, because we don't know how far we're going to be able to travel with the fuel we have, but... we should be able to get to Gator's Morn with 4 fuel and no lights. I can definitely get to Adam's Way or Port Carnegie. I think we're going to take the risk. There's definitely going to be something north of us. I just don't know what it is. Hopefully, it's somewhere where we can, wait, what's this? Oh, that's the mark for the, underwater place, I think? I don't know why it keeps doing that. That pirate frigate only has 90 health. We might be able to kill these guys. The ship is yours. What will you do with her? Loot and scuttle her. Yay, we gained 1 fuel and 1 supply and a cache of curiosities. A firkin of prisoners, honey. Alright, turn the lights off and get moving. What do we got here? Ah, the Sea of Lilies. Okay. Well, this is not the one that I would have preferred to find, but at least we have found it, nonetheless, so we'll know where it's at next time. I want to avoid the shark. I don't particularly want to fight a shark. I mean, we probably could fight a shark, but we're going to take some damage if we do, and I don't want to waste the fuel. Compile a port report. Wisdom! Nupmit built this place as a prison for the Khanate. Now it answers only to its governor. and its governor answers to no one. This is the prison colony, basically. There's not much we can do here. But we can buy fuel. We could also sell supplies. We don't need to sell our supplies here. But we are going to probably have to sell supplies somewhere. We're dangerously low on cargo space. We need to have 20 free cargo space in order to pick up the Sphinx Stone. So I need to buy some fuel. I'm going to buy 2. That should be enough to get us a little bit further. And in a pinch, we can get back here. We're going to continue to head north. We may head all the way up to the Chapel of Lights. We're definitely going to stop in Gator's Morn. But let's continue to head north. We need to run with our lights on a little bit more if we can. Our terror meter is getting worrisome. Peterson's Rift. Hoping to find Polytheme. There's an item there that I want to purchase. Alright, it looks like... this is actually Polytheme. Very good. This is the place we wanted to go. There is no fuel here. So that's unfortunate. Polytheme is the place where the Claymen come from. Taciturn Claymen. Taciturn Claymen, evasive clothes colonies, walking like humans, cobbles that groan underfoot, on the hills above a palace villa of marble, but even that rise like buried bones in an earthquake. Gather intelligence. The king with 100 hearts rules from his palace above the city. He is never seen. He makes no treaties with other lands. But there's unrest in the air. The Claymen you speak to are obedient and humble, but they speak nervously of those who are not, the maimed, the rebellious, the unfinished. 6 units of cargo space to ship Claymen to London. We will take that. This is one way to make some good money. And this one never actually runs out. You always are able to do this, as far as I'm aware. We don't have a watchful curio, but if we did, we could get an audience with the king. But that's not the real reason I wanted to come here. The real reason I wanted to come here was this. This is 300 echoes, but it gives us just enough to still have 270 left over. 200 for our shipment of Sphinx Stone and 70 to purchase fuel and other supplies. So I'm going to go ahead and buy the We Are Clay. And then we're going to go to our hold and put it in our auxiliary slot. Also, something I forgot to deal with earlier was this. So now, and actually we'll put him back in charge because the veils are kind of important to me. We want to avoid things as much as possible at the moment. Yeah. So we're going to have 100 engine power from Maybe's daughter. And then we have 1,000 engine power from this and another 250 from We Are Clay. Let me see if I can... there we go. There. Now we can read it. So this also gives 5 irons, and it permanently removes 3 quarters. They take up spots on our ship, but they don't eat supplies. So you can see our new crew is set to 7 of 7, which is good. We basically have a full allotment of crew. So we're in pretty good shape. Alright, so now it's time to head to Gator's Morn, I think. How much fuel do we have? 4? We can definitely get to Gator's Morn with 4 fuel. That probably only takes 1, maybe 2 if we're running lights on. But we should be a little bit faster now and maybe a little more capable of outrunning some of these ships that keep running us down and shooting at us. Which would be fantastic. Also, I know what this means. There's another port over here. When I first started playing the game, some of the stuff over in this area was so creepy that I had a hard time traveling over it without freaking myself out. I'm going to try to get behind this pirate ship. That's not going to happen. Keeping an enemy in your lights makes your meter fill faster. Well, that was annoying. Fragments of clay are littered across the deck. They crunch underfoot. Pot shards, unfinished men, do not surrender. Investigate the hold. What treasures did these villains take? A cache of curiosities. 2 new supplies. Alright, well. Creepy stuff under the water here, but it looks like the port that I was looking for is right over here. There it is. Or not. That is polythene. Alright. We're running out of fuel. I don't have time for this. Let's get to Gator's Morn and buy some more. Ah, there it is. Some distance to the north. I would have loved to go get that, but we'll have to wait until I can get more fuel. There is no fuel to be purchased there. These things are quite creepy traveling over them. But they do not attack you, so that's good to know. Something I wasn't sure of for the longest time. Alright, Gator's Morn, we're almost there. And we can definitely buy fuel here, but it's fairly pricey if I'm not mistaken. Also, we don't have a lot of money. I know it looks like we do, but we really don't. We're gonna get some though. Alright, so we can go ahead and do this. A shivering corsair with a package. Oh god, they're cold. Take them from me. Take them. Where's my money? Don't you cheat me. Take them, but I want my money. This will cost 1,000 echoes. This is for the blind bruiser. We have a crate of unstamped souls. And we can explore the Morn or gather intelligence. A chancy challenge with 45% chance of success. We can buy fuel here. I'm only going to buy 1. Firkin of red honey. Highly profitable if you have no principles. This stuff is too dangerous, even to be properly illegal, but be cautious in taking it to London. We can sell this. That will give us a little bit of money, but I need to make sure I save 200 for the salt lions. Alright, well, we never did find Port Cecil. Let's take a look here. I can get to Demuth. I think we just end this voyage by heading to the Salt Lions at this point. The only thing I have to pay attention to is whether or not I have enough fuel and enough cargo space. I need 8 cargo space. We're going to have to sell some things, but we can actually sell supplies here for 20 echoes apiece, which is actually a pretty decent price. Most of these supplies we picked up for free, so this is essentially free money. And if we need to repurchase them in London, supplies only cost 20 echoes apiece, so we can just rebuy them. But I'm going to sell down to that, and then we're going to buy a couple of fuel, probably just one. I don't know, hold on. How many fuel is it going to take to get over there? Straight shot to the Salt Lions, and then to London. I better buy at least one more. Because this one's almost gone. There's only a third of it left. I'll buy 2 more. That should be enough. This will be good. We'll have to spend some fuel to... that might have been too much. I need to lose at least 3 items before we try to pick up... We'll run with the lights on. That'll ensure that we burn our fuel. There's 1 fuel gone. See if we can sneak away from this guy. I don't want to fight him. We probably could, but I'd rather not. He's very fast. It'll be a little harder to stay behind. He saw me. He only has 80 health. Alright, we'll avoid the jellyfish and him. That's 2 fuel. I'm going to have 1 fuel too many. Oh, it's unfortunate. We can toss a supply if we have to. Alright, what is my hold at? 21. I don't want to toss that. I don't want to toss that. So yeah, we're going to have to toss 1 supply. That's fine. Visit with the Unmakers, lose some terror, compile a port report, and pay for this. We'll drop 1 of those, and off we go. Alright, so from here, I can attempt to go to Hunter's Keep, and then fall in London, or Mutton Island and then fall in London. I think we'll try and visit with the sisters. That should be easy enough to do. And at this point, I don't mind accumulating a little bit of terror because we're going to visit London and get rid of all of it. Or at least back down to 50 like we've been doing. Alright, so... Alright, so we can run with our lights on for a little bit here. This was a fairly long voyage. Which sisters should we dine with today? The one that gives Z stories is really nice. Because we can turn those in at the Fathom King for free supplies, basically. This one always gives a tale of terror. I can't remember which one gives the Z story. Let's try this one again. Nope, this was Memories of a Distant Shore. Well, we gained another supply. We did lose 10 terror, so that's interesting. Alright, do we have enough fuel to go anywhere else? I mean, technically, I could go to Venderbite, buy some more fuel, or even head straight to Mount Palmerston. I think we're just going to finish our task, though. We're getting close to getting a bunch of these quests completed. The Port Cecil has eluded us up to this point, unfortunately. And so has the Khanate, both of which are places we need to visit. Let's turn our light on, and you can see there's a little nook back here. Get some more fragments. The Echo Bazaar. Yeah, there we go. And now we have something awaits us in port. And let's hope that the authorities do not find any of our illegal goods. Alright, hand over the cargo. Welcome home. You may ask how it is. I am here to meet you, and I may remark that we have eyes in the wastes and eyes in the hills. In fact, we have more eyes than a not oracle. And they're all glad to see you. And of course, your cargo. Hand over the cargo and claim your payment. Oh dear. Well, I'll get rid of a fuel. You were paid. You've lost that. We've gained 200 echoes, 3 fuel, and 1 supply. But we had to throw one of the fuel away, so that's unfortunate. But fuel's not going to be a problem once we turn in a bunch of our port reports. Okay. We don't have any of those. You have nothing to hide, so let's go ahead and do that. A breath of relief. This should drop our terror down to 50. And it did collect our messages from the harbor. Something has changed underneath. Someone wants to sign on. What do we have? We needed to talk to the alarming scholar and deliver The vial of red honey. The scholar drags her, or is it his, tongue over each of the vials. Fresh, quiet, piquant. Look at the color. Oh, yes, yes, perfect. He or she hands you an untidy bundle of notes written on what you hope is paper. You are almost certainly imagining how the notes seem to shiver in your grip. Iseri will be pleased, at least. You will be well rewarded when you return to the Isle of Cats. Make sure you have at least 10 free spaces in your cargo hold. An occurrence. Our patronage quality is now 3, and we've lost our vial of red honey, and we now have the scholar's notes. Interesting. Let's go to London and deliver our claim in. That gives us 120 echoes every time we do that, so for 6 cargo space, 120 echoes doesn't really cost us much. Very good. Also, the Sphinx Stone, that's 500 echoes. That puts us almost at 1,000. And the Lost Little Terror, we can do that quite a bit more. A new recruit. Who awaits your attention? Ah, the Genial Magician. 50 echoes to hire the Genial Magician, or 50 echoes to hire the Haunted Doctor. We have enough officers right now that I don't really necessarily need either of these. The Genial Magician does have a pretty interesting quest that gives you one of the better engines in the game, especially if you want to move very quickly. But I don't think we're going to bother with it. Alright, these are still the same, as are these. Dark Spectacled Man can get his port reports at this point. Well, let's verify. We have quite a few slots, so yeah. Let's go ahead and turn in all of our port reports. Just keep Cumin Canal, the Iron Republic. This is a new one. Why did it click me out of there? I was still doing that. Mangrove College. Oh yes, the Muddy Philosophers. Do tell. 50 echoes for Mangrove College and fuel. Isle of Cats we've already read. Polytherium, the King with 100 Hearts. What a useful fellow. Without his exports, I'd be delivering my own coal. 50 echoes for that one. Port Carnelian, we've seen that one before, but the Fathom King's Hold is new. 30 echoes and a fuel. What's the old monster up to now, says the Admiralty. Geode we've already read. Wisdom is new. Bird, did the oracles look hungry? You gains 30 echo and 1 fuel. Varkus is new. The Mirrored City, Still think we're the barbarians, do they? 30 more echoes. King Eater's Castle. Ah, Despair's Fastness. 20 echoes and a fuel. We know about the Salt Lions. And that is all of them. Alright. Let's go ahead and carouse on the docks. We've lost 5 terror and gained 30 echoes and some recent news. And we can have a night with the likely last whose locket we still carry. That night at the Wolf Stack, you find yourself sharing a table with the likely lass. Don't think I came down to the docks to see you. I've got business here, but alright, it did cross my mind that you might drop by. Shared warmth and new memories. It's hard to say goodbye this time. You've lost 10 terror. Could visit our lodgings. And we can spend a night at the Blind Helmsman. This will give us a restful night to help deal with our nightmares. I may do that twice. I'm curious if we can have more than one restful night. Doesn't look like it. It just reduced my terror. But it didn't give me more than one restful night, I don't think. We can go to our hold or our journal and find out. Not sure where that would be. Miscellaneous, maybe? Almost safe. I don't see restful nights anywhere. Either way, this is where you can keep track of a lot of that stuff. Hunter's Keep. These are all the places we visited, basically. Alright, so let's see, how did we do? We're at 12,000 echoes now. That's very close to what we were at before. So I'm not so sure that we made very much money on that route. But that's okay. It wasn't really about making money this particular trip. It was more about uncovering more of the map so we know where to go next time. I do think that this is a good place to stop, so we'll go ahead and end the video now. Please do like and subscribe if you're enjoying this particular series. I have been immensely enjoying playing Fallen London, or not Fallen London, but Sunless Sea Zubmariner again. And the setting of Fallen London is just a fantastic world to explore. The stories are so good, and I enjoy going back and reading them again, or finding new branches that I haven't explored yet. So we'll continue to work on that. I think it's time in the very near future to start thinking about buying a house and maybe a few other things. Perhaps doing some of our officer quests and seeing if we can't get some cool stuff going with their quest lines. So we'll have to pick an officer. If you have a particular officer that you would like to see the quest line for that I currently have in my employ, these are the officers we have available. Please mention it in the comments, and yeah, maybe we'll go ahead and start providing supplies and having dinner with them and trying to tease out their storyline a little bit. But until next time, this has been TheNosePlays. I hope you all have a wonderful day.